Since 1998, the Gloucester Matthews Care Clinic has provided expert, compassionate health care to members of our community who lack adequate health insurance. In a large part, this is done through a community of selfless volunteers, and this brings us to why we're here today. Ann Quinn was one of the most tireless, enthusiastic supporters that I've ever known. She served on the board many times, even acting director at one portion of time, and from its very inception, Ann was a volunteer in the clinic, helping to address patient needs and provide health care for all in our community. It is with honor and distinction and joy that we come together today to dedicate this clinic in memory of Ann Quinn and to announce the reopening of our dental services here at the Gloucester Matthews Care Clinic.
Ann Quinn and Judy Allen came to one of our very first organizational meetings for the clinic at Abington Church. And no one knew either of them. They had, I think, recently moved to the county, and they had heard that we were thinking about organizing a committee to investigate having a free clinic, and they wanted to be involved.
I first met Ann Quinn when I served on the Board of Supervisors as a supervisor in Gloucester County, and she came before the board to make basically a pitch for us to match a grant that they had procured, but it required the county to show commitment to the clinic, and so we had to also match the amount of money that they were applying for. So for me, that was my first exposure to Ann and getting to know who she was, because she also took the time to call us all personally and explain what the grant was about so that hopefully we would all support it, which the board did. The board unanimously supported it and gave the money to the clinic to match the grant.
Ann was a close friend, a neighbor, a patient, and became the advocate for developing a dental clinic.
Ann kind of recruited me back about 2008 to kind of give him a hand.
I first met Ann in the early 90s when she moved into our neighborhood, and she wasn't there very long when she found out I was a nurse and asked me to come and volunteer at the free clinic.
When I first got here as executive director in 2017, Ann was one of the first board members that I met, and she was doing everything in her power to try to keep the dental clinic open. She really was leaving no stone unturned, and probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do as director here was sit down with Ann and tell her that we really had to close the dental clinic. And on that day, I made a promise to her that we would get the dental clinic reopened, and I'm happy we were able to keep that promise. I absolutely have no doubt that Ann has been the wind beneath our wings as we have worked to do this. There's no doubt in my mind that she's still guiding us as we work to serve people in need, because that was what Ann was all about.
We had a mobile bus that Ann was very, very instrumental in procuring for us to be able to work with patients back a number of years ago before we had this facility. And then, of course, Ann was just instrumental and just passionate, and I can't use that word enough, passionate about having a dental facility in a building so that we can actually render dental care to the patients here at Gloucester Matthews Care Clinic. So she recruited yours truly for a little bit more of input of what she might need in order to facilitate this lovely building. As you well know, we opened up somewhere around 2014, and we were very viable for a few years. Unfortunately, our funding kind of pooped out around 2017, so we had to close for the time being. But I do remember vividly how passionate and fervent that Ann was about, we will open this clinic again. And I said, yes, ma'am. That will happen.
One of my fondest memories of watching Ann in action was her sitting in a closet in the old clinic, calling all the dentists in the area to see which one would take one of our patients to get the care they needed quickly. She was very good at that.
I guess the thing I remember the most about Ann is she cared for every one of us and was so careful that she didn't let us overwork or do too much, and she would put it on her shoulders. Ann was amazing. I wish I could. She was fun. I wish I could remember some of those stories, but I don't right now. But what I do remember about Ann Quinn is that she carried the clinic through tough times and did everything for us. And we're here today because of Ann Quinn.
Ann had a very convincing way of encouraging people to do something that she wanted to be done. When Ann was very ill and near death, she was in the intensive care unit at Riverside Regional Medical Center. It was 2019, right after we had casino night. Ann was very sick, did not even feel like talking, and I told her I would only stay there for a few minutes, and she said, "No, you need to tell me all about casino night. I want to know everything that happened."
And worked literally till she could no longer work for this clinic. And one of the things, she was hospitalized that last year that she was alive. I went over there just to visit, see what I could do to, uplift her spirits or whatever. I left my 30-minute visit with her with a stack of papers, things that I needed to do.
If I could describe Ann Quinn in one word, it would be a sweetheart.
Ann was generous with her time, her talents, her financial resources. Ann was generous. And her love.
Pedal to the metal. She didn't mess around. What you saw is what you got. Like I said, she was passionate, not only about the dental end, but she was just passionate about the clinic itself. So if you weren't on board, forget it.
I don't think I could describe Ann in just one word. She was bigger than life, happy, and to hear her laugh, you were going to laugh even if you didn't know what she was laughing about, because she just had that type of bubbly personality.
Enthusiastic person with the ability to help persuade others to lead and follow her path.
I don't know really of anybody that was ever able to say no to Ann.
When Ann was even so very sick, she took the time to write a thank you letter to the clinic to just kind of update us on her progress. And she started the letter with, "Dear board members, staff, volunteers, and patients of the best free clinic in Virginia," in parentheses, "we won't tell anyone else, but we know this to be true." And she updated the staff and board kind of on her condition. And she wanted to thank everybody for the calls and the prayers and the good wishes. And she closed her letter with, "Take heart. It is my intention to be traveling the halls of the clinic soon, causing trouble wherever I can. She is very dearly missed."
Even when she was ill, she was just very, very adamant about getting it back together again. So I told her, yeah, we're going to do like the phoenix. We're going to rise from the ashes and we're going to get back on our feet. She was the best of the best.
Because of our community of support and our love of you, Ann, we are back in business. Thank you for your love, your generosity, your support, and may our clinic here be a testimony to your life of dedication and service.